How'd you make all this money? I opened my eyes. I looked around me. I started to think.
Really? Whoa. Hey, everybody. Listen, I have some great news, guys. You don't have to be poor anymore, okay? Thanks to this brilliant, mind-blowing advice from the bald alpha Andrew Tate Stain himself, just stop being poor. Just don't. Just don't do that anymore, okay? Open your eyes. Look around. Okay? Oh, what? You don't see anything? You don't see money growing on the trees? Well, start using your brain. Huh? God, these simple-minded plebs. Andrew Tate. I like to call him Andrew Taint. He has been banned from Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Of course, if you're banned on Instagram, you're also banned on Facebook because they're both the same company and this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, he has been banned from now 3 different platforms for violating their terms of service. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Taint, has recently risen to popularity, mostly for his shockingly wrong statements made about women, about gay people, about pretty much you name it, and he has like the wrong opinion on the subject, okay? He also has been accused of sex trafficking. I say this as an alleged crime that he has committed because I do not think that he's been convicted of this crime just yet. However, he is an alleged sex trafficker. He also allegedly said he wanted to leave the US and go to a different country. I can't remember what it was now because they weren't as strict when it came to sexual harassment laws. So there's that. He's just an all-around piece of shit. Last time we talked about this little taint stain was when we saw him debate Hassan, and he said that women are worse drivers than men, and even though all of the data that currently exists contradicts that statement, Andrew Tate would not back off of it because his personal experience was that women are bad at driving. The area was Romania. That's right. Content creator and influencer Andrew Tate has been removed from Facebook and Instagram for violating Meta's policies following online calls from activists for him to be deplatformed. In accordance with Facebook's policy on dangerous individuals, Tate could be considered to fall under the Tier 3 category. Let's see what this is. Focuses on entities that may have repeatedly engaged in violations of our hate speech or dangerous organizations policies on or off the platform, or demonstrate strong intent to engage in offline violence. Really? Was he like advocating violence or likely to commit violence? Now, right off the bat, the first thing that I really do not like is, oh, he did advocate direct violence against women. Okay, well, in that case, then he's a complete degenerate, and then his ban has been completely warranted. There's clips of him talking about choking and raping his sexual partners. Okay, well, we probably don't need to show that on screen. Either way, the one thing that I don't like is that they sort of did this broad, like, you're banned thing. Give us an exact example, please. Like, this is what you said on this date, here's the clip, and this is why you are banned. I like that better than, well, your just general presence is violating our policies. Again, you can ban people. These companies have the right to ban people for whatever reason, and I'm not even denying that Andrew Tate violated TOS. If anything, it seems very cut and dry that he did violate TOS. I just like more specific examples. That's what I would prefer. The 35-year-old's presence online was described as dangerous in a viral Instagram post last week by queer content creator Matt Bernstein, who detailed Tate's violent, anti-gay, and misogynistic comments made during his various podcast appearances. Okay, let's see. What is this? Andrew Tate is an influencer and former kickboxer whose violently misogynistic, homophobic videos have propelled him to global fame among young men and boys. He said that women are men's property and that rape victims should bear some responsibility for their attacks. Oh no. Hi. Last month, he was Googled more than Donald Trump and Kim Kardashian combined. Holy shit! In this widely circulated video, Tate, who is 35, explains that he prefers to date 18-year-olds because they have been through less dicks than women in their 20s. He also says that it's easier to make an imprint on young girls. This is also known as grooming.
18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds because they've been through less dick. I'll say this right here on the fucking internet. I don't give a shit. People will sit there and go, oh, you can't say that. Yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been more places, been fucked and dumped more times, more arguments, more heartbreak, more bullshit, more mess for me to clean up. Whereas a 19-year-old might have had one guy from high school, just broke up, she's fresh, and I can fucking put my imprint on her and make her a good person, and without her having to go through all that detriment to learn about life. The reason
This is also really creepy. This, like, I can put my imprint on them. I can make them into a good person. And they've been fucked less? First of all, a woman's worth should not be defined by how many sex partners she's had. Why is a man's worth considered higher if he's fucked a lot of girls, but a woman's worth is considered lesser if she has had sex or multiple sex partners throughout her lifetime? Why? Why is it like that? There is absolutely no physical difference that happens if a girl has sex more often as opposed to like a girl that doesn't have sex very often. You realize that there's no actual physical difference, right? It is all up here, my dude. You perceive this as like more dicks, more this, and it's gross. Like there's more to women than how many sex partners they've had. There's more to relationships than sex. And then, yeah, once again, thank you, chat, for correcting me. This also sounds pretty creepy as well. She's fresh and I can put my imprint on her. Holy fuck, dude. What the hell does that even mean? How would a 35-year-old even date like a 19 or an 18-year-old? The 18-year-old's like, hey, I just got a new set of silly bands. You gotta check this shit out, dude. Look, it's shaped like a lion, ha ha ha. And he's over here like, yo, okay, babe, that's nice. I'm gonna get going to the doctor. I have my colonoscopy. I gotta go to the chiropractor. My aching back.
Who knows CPR? Well, me. Help him. No. Why? Because I ain't gay.
Much of his content is laughably ridiculous, like this video where he says he knows CPR but wouldn't perform it on a man because that would be gay. Okay, that's pretty fucking stupid. But underneath the absurdity of Andrew Tate are the darker, more insidious consequences of the influence he has on young boys. Andrew Tate is not just another edgy misogynist on the internet, he's also one in real life. He's been under investigation for sex trafficking and rape in Romania, where he lives. In one video, he explained that 40% of his reason for moving to Romania was because Romanian police were less likely to pursue sexual assault allegations than police in the US. Holy shit, here I thought that it was sexual harassment. No, sexual assault. This guy is an absolute goddamn creep. Andrew Tate has expressed numerous times his belief that women are property. Videos like this are racking up billions of views on TikTok. Hippity hoppity, women are not property.
Do you think that women are property?
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
So, yes, that's what happens, but do you think that, like, the father owns that woman, like, property? You realize that if you're owning another human being as property, that's slavery, right? Do you think that women are slaves to their fathers? Because that would be a little bit of a yikesy for me. Unless what? What are we going to do? Are we going to go back to biblical eras? You know, what was the verse in Leviticus that explained that if a woman is suspected of not being a virgin, she will be taken to a priest or something. Her father will have to take her there to literally have her hymen checked to make sure that she's still a virgin? Are we going to go back to biblical times now where women are unironically treated like property/sex slaves who have no say in anything? Is this the end result of inceldom or Christianity?
Next to her and gives her away. True or false?
That is something that happens, yes.
So you're giving her away, correct?
Yes.
Does that not sound at least in some way semi-related to property at some degree?
Some form of ownership.
I mean, at one point it actually was comparable to property because it was like the father owned this woman and then she was being given to another man to own her then. That is how it used to be. Nowadays, the fathers will walk their daughters down the aisle and give her to the husband and whatnot. This still happens, mostly though for the sake of tradition, mostly because it's now symbolic. It's like, you know, for a long time, you were my child and now you're moving on. I don't know, but I feel like it's certainly not comparable to the way it used to be. And to equate this sort of symbolic behavior at a wedding to, well, doesn't it mean that women are in some forms property, LOL, is fucking delusional.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree. It actually is kind of a weird symbol as well.
Of ownership. Does the Bible say the woman owns the husband owns the woman?
I believe it does.
Oh, what do you know? What do you know? I was making a joke just a second ago about Christianity, and he brings up the Bible. Wow! What do you know, man? Like clockwork. Dude, I need to start betting on this shit. So here we have one of the biggest scumbags to ever walk the earth justifying his misogynistic viewpoints partially by appealing to the Bible. Damn. Huh. So weird, isn't it? So strange that God's inspired word that directs our morality, allegedly, has been used now to justify misogyny throughout the ages and slavery throughout the ages and violence throughout the ages. Damn. I wish God would have gotten it a little better, but oh well.
Does the Quran
Yes.
say that the man owns the woman? Yes. So this is all ancient, right? All the things I'm saying are things that were largely accepted by society forever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything new. I'm not saying anything which is really, truly even controversial. The whole world.
No, it's very controversial because women are not property. Even if we hadn't known this, it still would be immoral to view women as property. However, we now know, thanks to scientific research and advancements, that women have the exact same cognitive function as men. We know that women have the same desire for autonomy and the pursuit of happiness and dreams and goals as men. There is nothing to actually suggest that women are property, not even on a scientific basis. But mind you, even if we didn't have that research, like in biblical times, it still would be immoral. Because even from what you could observe with your own two eyes in that olden time, you could tell this is a human being. They are sentient. They have an understanding of the world around them. They have dreams, goals, and desires, and treating them like they are nothing but property, who is my sex slave, this is probably a bad thing.
I'm not saying anything which is really, truly even controversial. The whole world agreed that the woman belongs to the man when she decides to give herself to a man. The whole world agreed that. Now, I'm not saying that a woman walking...
So again, the whole world agreeing that is really irrelevant. I would love to ask this guy, at one point the entire world believed that the world was flat. Does it mean the world was flat? Does it mean that we should go back to saying the world is flat? Like, what do you think should happen there? At one point, no, I wouldn't say the whole world, but the whole of America viewed slavery as being perfectly fine and moral. Should we go back to slavery now? Like, this appeal to the whole world used to think this thing is so fucking it's lunacy. It doesn't prove shit.
That a woman walking down the street by herself, a single woman, is some kind of property to whatever. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice save at the very end there, buddy. Here he explains to his audience, compromised largely of boys as young as 13, how to, quote, handle a girl. Slap, slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex. The weird thing with this guy is also that it's like, it's hard to differentiate the difference between like how much of this is legitimately serious incel manosphere brain rot, as opposed to how much of this is him unironically just trolling and trying to be as edgy as fucking possible. I feel like he does it this way purposely because it gives him that plausible deniability. Videos of Andrew Tate have been viewed 11.6 billion times on TikTok alone. Many of them violate community guidelines but aren't taken down. This guy definitely has low self-esteem. He's coping. He has a fuck ton of mommy and daddy issues, okay? And it's obvious that he's just coping with that by trying to project his insecurities and his disgustingly pessimistic view of the world onto women. He blames women for these problems when in reality, he is the problem. Andrew Tate is just fueling the problem even more. And another thing I want to raise awareness of is that Andrew Tate is gaining popularity, partially at least, because of the way that society treats men and boys and men's issues right now. So men are struggling. Men face unique challenges in this life. Okay, now of course, is there such a thing as male privilege? I would say there's more like a female or woman disprivilege or lack of privilege or advantage that women have. Not so much that men are overprivileged, but rather that we should also want to have women taken as seriously as men are taken in certain instances as well, for example, like in the workforce, for example. But there's no denying that men specifically face unique challenges. They have a problem with loneliness. There is a problem with men forming friendships and forming strong bonds. Research already shows that men and boys do the best when they are in groups. When it's 3 or more guys all hanging out, that is where men tend to thrive the most. And right now there's a problem with men not able to make friendships, not able to form these friendships. They're more isolated, more lonely, and this all combined is negatively impacting men's mental health. Part of this is also because of these toxically masculine ideas that we place on men, these fucked up expectations that you're a man, you can't cry, showing vulnerability is you being weak. I mean, how are you going to make friends if you're not willing to be vulnerable, at least to a certain degree, with someone else? How are you going to confide in somebody and actually become good friends with somebody if you're not even willing to be vulnerable, right? Toxic masculinity negatively impacts men's abilities to navigate this world, form healthy relationships and friendships, and they are suffering because of it. There's a reason why men are killing themselves at higher rates. There's a reason why men are having less sex, why men are more lonely and more isolated now than arguably ever before. Andrew Tate comes along. He gives this advice that, you see, men, a lot of the problems you have are because of women. And so rather than addressing what is actually causing this problem with men right now, you now have men who are flocking to people like Andrew Tate to instead hear how it's the fault of the women. The women. Okay? Just blame the women. It's a lot easier, right? Wouldn't it be more preferred for these guys who are already struggling and feeling lonely and are kind of resentful that they're having a hard time getting a girlfriend and all this shit? Suddenly, kablam, this dude comes along and says, yeah, you're justified in feeling your anger and resentment towards women because they control this sexual marketplace and they are leading men on, and it's really largely because women control sex, they control the relationships, women are to blame. It's because of women that you are suffering. And so you already have these vulnerable guys, and they are just gently pushed, nudged right into misogyny. Andrew Tate is just a result of a lot of these fucked up expectations that we place on men, combined with the fact that men, generally speaking, are not doing very well in general society. This is working together to result in negative outcomes like misogynistic pieces of shit incels who think that they're cool, edgy, and red-pilled, bruh. Pass the doobie, bruh. Because they say women bad. It's fucking pathetic. And you'll notice too that what does Andrew Tate do? He personifies this idea of not being emotional, stoic, completely strong, dominant, authoritative. Now, yeah, it's transparent and it's obvious that he's actually just an insecure little piece of shit, but he embodies these views of masculinity that are harming men. He embodies this. Men have been led astray largely to believe that being dominant, being in charge, swallowing your emotions, who gives a fuck? That's what it means to be a good man. That's what a manly man is. And Andrew Tate embodies that. He is unironically contributing to more toxic masculinity. He is fueling toxic masculinity. It is a vicious cycle because he is a creation of toxic masculinity and then he is adding to it. And it goes on and on and on. There is strong evidence that suggests that men who hold these more toxic and traditional views of masculinity, like what Andrew Tate is embodying, are literally more likely to engage in violence against women. They're also more likely to tolerate violence against women. So all this does at the end of the day is cause more problems. All it does is further fuel the toxic masculine views that right now are placed on men that hurt men, but also cause men to have this phony perception that in order to be a good man, it means being rich, dominant, controlling all the women in your life, not giving a fuck about women, except for when you do give a fuck about women. Yeah! This is from the Hodge twins here. This is why they banned him off Facebook and Instagram. Can't have another truth teller out there. Okay, so we are once again back to the dissident opinion is the correct one because it's not popular. The contrarian viewpoint. Okay.
Something, man. When this corona thing was going on, I flew here from Romania on Wizz Air because you can't get first class flights into Europe. It's all just low cost carriers. I'm flying Wizz Air. I have a mask on. Excuse me, sir, put the mask over your nose. This fucking air stewardess, this minimum wage bitch. So I put my mask on my nose.
So, classism, right off the bat. minimum wage, not minimum wage, that has absolutely no validity on whether or not you should respect them or on whether or not what they are telling you is correct and is in accordance with whatever airline policy. So right off the bat, like even little comments like that is just, it's disgusting. Yeah, if someone makes minimum wage, do you think that that means that they're just like stupid? They're less human? Like
Everyone was freaking out about masks. I had to fill in all these home office papers when I landed, all this crap, PCR test, blah, blah, blah. I thought I'm not doing that again. So about 2 months later, I flew on a private plane. No mask.
wow.
No PCR test.
Damn, it's almost as if you needed to wear a mask to protect other people from yourself. And if you're on a private plane and there's not very many people, it's not actually as important. Whoa! What? My brain! It's exploding with this big thought.
No home office paperwork. My pilots weren't wearing masks. When I landed at Biggin Hill Airport, the people who met me in the BMW, no one was wearing a mask. Nobody had a mask on. No one asked me to fill in shit. Do you know why? Because I was rich. Corona doesn't exist for the rich people. As soon as you pay 50 grand for a flight, no, they don't trouble you then. They trouble the shit money.
What? What are you actually even saying? So wait, if you're rich, they don't care if you have COVID? Who's they? You realize that every single fucking thing you've explained thus far is like a private entity, a private jet, and then what? You were picked up by what? I'd assume some kind of a private car fare. Like this isn't they. These are just individual policies.
The people in charge try very hard to keep them asleep. If you
People in charge. Wow. So this dude appeals to homophobes, incels, misogynists, and now even Nazis could watch this and say, yeah, they, them, the people in charge. You see, populists hear that and they think the wealthy elites. Yeah, the government. But neo-Nazis hear that and they think the Jews. That's why I hate terminology like this. It appeals to the most extreme view that this kind of rhetoric could apply to.
You had a whole bunch of people who were your slave. Why would you tell them the truth about the world? Why would you do that? No. When's the last time you went to school and learned how money works? Or
I genuinely am out of words. That, and I think that my edible is starting to kick in. So is they the government in this case? Like you're talking about public schools? I don't even know what to say about this.
or any of the things that they use to control you. No. They teach you about fucking photosynthesis. They don't want you to know anything. They don't
It's almost as if there's something that's taught in school that's different from what you are taught as far as practicality. You know what, guys? They did not want me to know how to change a tire, okay? Every single time, they wanted to stop me. My evidence of this? How come in school I was never taught how to change a tire? What do you have to say about them apples, okay? Obviously, the they, thems... No, not the trans agenda. I mean the theys. Don't want me to know how to change a tire. It's what they're after. It's all falling into place. Get the X-Files theme music playing.
want us to know anything. They just want us sitting there going, okay, he's a panda, and I stay in my house because of Corona. Clap for the NHS. Move like a performing seal. Like an idiot. And people are idiots. So they control them. And then they come to me and go, Tate.
So they control them. Didn't like a bunch of rich people also face huge negative consequences because of COVID? They were forced to isolate. They had to be in lockdown. There was that famous picture that came out of Ben Affleck looking all tired out, like the COVID shit. I mean, if your hypothesis was even consistent at all or had any form of validity, which it doesn't, then wouldn't you at least see like a bit of a pattern amongst rich people and like people that are more middle class and whatnot?
Things that people never seem to do. I don't know how they live in a dream for so fucking long. I woke up out of the dream, right? But this is the truth. Governments are absolutely the enemy of the people. They always have been. They always fucking will be. Fuck all of them.
Okay, so he was obviously talking about the government. And when he says government is the enemy of the people, they always have been. Again, he's appealing to this like consistent pattern throughout history, which is relevant in this regard, but it's not enough to make the actual argument completely sound. Because, wait a minute, a lot of governments have been against the people, true, but they're also governments that actively work for the people now, and that's why, at least in America, the government is supposed to be made up of what? The people. Also, the choices made by government officials affect them as well. That's part of the element of democracy. But there you guys have it. Andrew Tate Andrew Tate, he appeals to simple-minded individuals by offering a simple solution for a complex problem. That is exactly what he does. Andrew Tate, you are no alpha, my friend. If anything, you're like a fucking gamma, okay? Yeah, got him. Is gamma lower than beta? I think so, right? Yeah. Don't look it up.